would you say that cereal's ability to be stored is limited more by the milk associated with it than the cereal?
But there's always milk, though, is there? As long as there's cows, there's milk.
As long as there's cows, there's milk.
That
might be the wisest thing we've ever said on this podcast. Oh, God. Okay. Well,
I think that has definitely got to be, if we ever have a saying on this podcast, I think the old proverb of as long as there's cows, there's milk is certainly a top bit of advice. Oh, wow! I can see you both again. Last week there was this whole thing. I couldn't see you. You'd have to be there. You'd have to have... I mean, it's a shame we're not releasing these episodes, but if you did see that episode, you would have seen that we kind of talked about not being able to see each other. It's brilliant, guys. I'm so sorry for starting so late, relatively. Just, I had such a terrible day yesterday. I slept in a little bit. I slept in till 1. Really, you know, just kind of the general, you know, it's avalanche season. So, you know, they've been giving me like little snippets of news from back home, and apparently just the whole of the western side of the UK completely covered in snow. Just absolutely horrendous.
Shit, man.
I stubbed my
We're good
toes.
out here.
Yeah, we're good out here.
Anyone
at
cares.
least.
Yeah. Nice and warm.
Wherever here is, I'm not sure.
Wouldn't you like to?
Yeah, I stubbed all 10 of my toes.
I'm just impressed at this point.
That's I stopped trying to move after like the 3rd toe, but somehow, you know, Crackle scratched me, which I think is a little bit weird. I asked to see HR, and then turns out that somebody did a HR complaint against me for making a HR complaint. So, you know, just not a great day yesterday. Went to sleep.
Toxic company.
Now, I'm on top of the world because today is a new day. Can't stub any more toes, but there are no more toes left to stub. Brilliant. That's right.
It can only get better,
toes.
you know. It's the best thing about rock bottom is that there's nowhere to go
exactly.
down.
And I think someone was feeling bad for me because I didn't get my usual cereal bar for breakfast. I got a nice brunch, which personally I'm more of a brunch boy than a breakfast boy, but I very much appreciated the little bonus. What did you guys have for your brekkie?
I had toast.
Toast. Oh, you like toast?
I had a Weetabix.
I'm a bit of a fan of toast.
I saw a bit of a grimace there with the old said toast. I'm feeling maybe there might be a little bit of aminosity in the air about your opinions on
we might have to discuss,
of
perhaps.
breakfast. You know what? Fuck the podcast. I can see that this is really causing a divide in our group, and I think the only sensible way to deal with this is for us to have a conversation on what is better, toast versus cereal. On a spreadsheet where we can list
it's funny you should suggest that because I've got that already up.
Fantastic.
I've written toast and cereal. Now the thing is,
that's convenient,
I've noticed you haven't actually weighed in just yet.
I said at the very beginning I'm a brunch boy.
Brunch is not mutually exclusive. Brunch is not a type of food. But
you know what happens if you have brunch for toast, or if you have a brunch toast or a brunch cereal? Like, that's a bit sad. So I don't
Why is that sad?
Well, it's you know, brunch. It's a powerful word. I expect
toast is a powerful word. Get out of my house.
I was hoping for a healthy portion of a selection of different foods. You
could have many things on toast.
I know, but like, it's like a full English breakfast. You could have some cereal on the side, you could have some toast on the plate, but they're not the main attractions
on the side of full English.
Have you ever been to a hotel where that can happen?
Not one, no.
There's a buffet and they don't give a shit. You can put
we've
milk
already dived
on your
into some
bacon.
very controversial topics from the get-go. I can tell this will be a meaty episode.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
toast and cereal.
Fuck
me. Had to get that one in.
I'd say I'm very on the fence. I would say.
You're on the fence.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not putting brunch in the third column.
Yeah.
I thought you'd do this. I preempted that you'd come in with a third suggestion because you have to be different.
I'm happy to be maybe in your argument. I think the best way to determine who wins is who can persuade me on which one's better, and at the end I can give my thoughts and I can make a stern decision on whether toast or cereal is superior to the other, entirely based on what you two say to me today.
I don't know about this, Matt. Do you trust Chris's opinions? He just admitted he doesn't even agree with the concept of breakfast.
It doesn't matter what we say. We're both going to be wrong.
Wouldn't you say that both of you agreeing that I am not going to be biased towards the other person makes me the perfect judge?
No.
If you both agree on how terrible I'd be as a judge, I mean, really, I'll tell you this: I won't pull a sneaky third one out on you. I will make a decision between toast and cereal, but I will only do it based on what you two give me information-wise. You need to tell me what joys I'm missing. And I think the best way to do it is probably go one at a time. Everyone bring a point, and we can discuss each point towards toast or towards cereal.
Okay. So what you're suggesting is we have rounds of combat.
Yeah.
Like
maybe on the left-hand side we can have which round it is.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking that. Why don't we put that in the middle? Okay. Yeah. So we have like the table, which you know. It's not me today. I'm hands off the keyboard. Can even unplug the keyboard.
Fortunately, I have this up so I can.
You get the final
Thank
vote.
God. I mean, though my computer's making a massive amount of noise because the original Mac computer is not designed for Google Sheets. I suppose I can.
Why are there so many red things, by the way?
Why are there so many red things?
So many red things.
There appears to be 3 people on.
I think.
Yes, but
I think it's because I'm in there twice because I'm not.
Sort that out, and also click away from the like main box of viewing, please.
The problem is that if I sort that out, I've already messed up the video once because I knocked my desk. The HDMI cable came out. So I had to quickly plug it back in.
Don't do that again.
How many episodes before the production quality of this show doesn't rest on a knife edge every single time?
Well, you've seen my setup. It's sketchy at best.
It's sketchy. Full stop.
Got my phone.
I'm so angry at this red square in the middle.
Why?
No, you know what? We'll make it important. Okay, that round is the final round.
So we're doing what? 7?
And its points count for double.
We're doing 7
Okay, we'll figure out what that round is. Yeah, you know what? Keep it nice and concise. We don't have to, you know. Last episode I edited was 2 hours long, which we said from the get-go, never 2 hours long.
No, that's too long.
3 episodes in, we failed.
We're good at this.
Whoa, guys! I've just clicked one button, and it seemingly has actually made it all kind of change and do exactly what we needed. Brilliant.
Well done.
I suppose
Thanks.
we should settle on the categories. I'd say that maybe we all choose a category that is important to us, and then the final category I will decide, taking into consideration the other categories, and I'll think of something quite important for the final category as well. And then for the overall one, we will kind of do final thoughts, and then we'll declare the winner.
Number 1.
So,
I think we all know what it's got to be.
Well, you
Crunchiness.
seem to know. Crunchiness.
Okay.
You might want to make that column also bigger.
Cool. Crunchiness. Crunchiness, rather. I should pronounce it, I suppose. Yet, more pieces of quality content being completely wasted on our our listeners that don't yet exist. But
Mate, don't worry, listeners. It's written down
it's just
exactly
spelled
how
badly.
you'd
Okay,
imagine.
just take a minute. Imagine how you would personally spell crunchiness incorrectly. Have a little chuckle, and then we'll just move on with the podcast.
I mean,
Move on.
it's a chocolate.
Well done,
bar
everyone,
and
for
girls'
imagining.
name is what you've got there. It's just
It's not spelled I-E.
the chocolate bar is.
The chocolate bar is.
Is it really?
It's a chocolate bar and a girl's name. Yeah.
Ness can be a boy's name. Smash Brothers.
I suppose.
Yeah.
And a dinosaur's name.
Yeah.
A made-up dinosaur's name.
And a lock monster.
That was the one. That
name.
was the one. It's a dinosaur, isn't it? Everyone knows it's just obviously a dinosaur.
Big old dinosaur eel.
It's just big fucking Scottish immortal
We're not
dinosaur.
supposed to tell people outside the UK that. That's how
That's
we
a trade secret.
we pretend that it's a monster, and then they go, "Oh, it's just a dinosaur."
What do you mean just a dinosaur?
It's too late. Well, you know, it was really impressive until Jurassic Park happened, and then it kind of really lost a lot of its appeal. So we started saying it was a monster instead, and that really got in the audiences. Anyway, I
We're
think
so
that
on topic.
Since you named the category, I'm gonna let. Actually, yeah, I think you should start off, and then Serial has the chance to kind of attack your points, and then we'll alternate each time.
That's fair. Okay. Well, I mean, toast is pretty crunchy. Unlike cereal, toast is not one of those things that has like a time limit of like you need to eat it now. It's being ruined as we speak. Like toast is semi-time critical, but nowhere near the same level of time critical as breakfast cereal. That is a normal.
That is what we're referring to in this case. Yes.
Breakfast cereal, which it ensoggans as the seconds fly by. I mean, it's ridiculous. When I eat cereal, I have to resort to pouring a bit of milk in, stirring it around, having some crunch, pouring a bit more milk in, stirring it around, and having some, like it. What is that about? Terrible.
I don't think you're just... What? Why are you... You're adding more milk each time.
So I add in a bit of milk and then have all of the milk. So like I go from the bottom up so that I pick up all the milk in the spoon.
So one
and
second,
then
are you
eat
doing
some of that.
cereal milk?
No, I've got my bowl of cereal, right? I figured out this was the only way. This is what an engineering degree has for you, right? You figure out how to eat cereal properly. So I figured out, right? The problem is that you can't keep eating the cereal whilst the milk's just sitting there, ruining all the cereal underneath.
Well,
so what you have to do is pour a bit of milk in, kind of slightly ensoggen everything, and then have all the milk that's like sitting at the bottom, and lift it up through the rest of the cereal, so that you get a nice amount of cereal and milk on your spoon, but you don't have too much milk in the bowl. Yes, I agree. I hear what you're saying. That's dumb and a waste of time, and that is precisely why cereal sucks dick.
Well, no, just eat the cereal quicker. It's not like it's eat the
I
cereal
don't want to be
before-
rushed.
Well, then maybe cereal's not the breakfast for you.
I think we're going to establish that more and more over the course of this podcast, Matthew. Toast, when you eat it, it's got that perfect, if it's done right, it's got a perfect crunch on the outside, and the lovely moist, steamy kind of hot bread on the inside. Like that's just there's few finer things in life than a nice good piece of crunchy toast.
I mean, you can't make this argument, but you could make the argument that toast has just a critical...
You're not doing a good job at the debating thing, right? This is a shit argument. I'm doing it anyway.
I've got nothing else.
I mean, we'll get to
you've picked a category that toast just outright wins. You can't beat
argument thus far. Can I just say, your entire argument thus far is not on how crunchy toast is, but on how shit cereal is at being crunchy.
Well, no, both start off crunchy. I can't. Well, actually, it's one starts off soggy, and then as you toast it, it gets better.
Crunchy, no time limit, semi-time limited, but not time critical.
Well, like basically every food is time limited in that if you cook it hot, you need to eat it whilst it's somewhat hot. I mean, cold toast is not the
And
best
then
thing.
and then you rounded, and then you went into this massive tirade about cereal. And you ended with, there are fewer final things in life than a crunchy bit of toast. I think there are better arguments to be made for the crunchiness of toast that you have completely glossed over.
We're starting out small. You know.
That's everything I got. That's everything I got when you were writing. Also, I really love the word "ensogens," though it isn't a word, so I've just kind of had to throw a dart.
Watch that get added to the Oxford Dictionary within weeks of this podcast airing.
So for the audio listeners, I have written down as follows. I mean, we'll give him some chance to add a little bit more to this, maybe.
I don't think I need to add.
So on the category of the crunchiness of toast, pretty crunchy, unlike cereal. No time limit. Being ruined as we speak. Semi-time critical. So he's gone back on the no time limit, but not as time critical as cereal. Cereal and soggins. When I have cereal, it is such a fucking effort. He said a lot there, but I just kind of skip notes that version now. Adding cereal, then milk, little bit, very measured, a bit psychopathic. I don't want to be rushed. Maybe cereal isn't the thing for you. There are fewer finer things in life than a bit of crunchy toast.
And I stand by every word, except for a bit psychopathic. I'm not.
Could have talked about how you can control the degree of crunchiness from how much you toast your
just go
toast.
for maximum crunch.
I
like strong toast. I like a crunch to my toast. I want to be woken up by the satisfying texture of chewing through bits of hard wood in the morning.
This was my argument that just isn't an argument because it's very easily work-roundable, is that toast is somewhat time sensitive in that you've got to time the toasting right to get the right crunch. Otherwise,
there's a setting for that.
Exactly, which is why it's a bit of a flawed argument.
The guys behind Mr. Toaster thought of this. His sarky mate who likes to point the flaws out and everything was like, "How are you going to know when it's toasted properly?" He was like,
well, did you know that actually the numbers on the toaster, you know how you have the numbers on like how much it's going to be toasted for? Those are different for every toaster.
Yeah. It's you know what it is inside? It's a bit of metal that curls as it heats. It's got. I love the idiots who think it's to do with minutes.
Or degree of toastiness.
I mean, I
this is a 6 on the toast scale.
Well, I think it's a fact that it is just people don't know what the number stands for, and people struggle to live in a world where there are numbers which have no meaning.
Like 1B3D5F 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, those don't strike. They don't put fire out a lot of meaning to me. I've kind of torpedoed your argument.
I know. This is the only other argument I have is that you've got Crunchy Nut, you've got Cookie Crisp, you've got Golden Crunch.
Yeah, and they're all very crunchy for about 30. It's not even an exaggeration. It's about 30 seconds until they just become soggy.
It depends on how much milk you put in the bowl.
And again, I disagree. Because it's either submerged or it isn't.
So
today, Mildred, I'm just going to have half of my bowl of cereal ruined, actually, I think. And the top bit will be dry as balls.
The Weetabix is something that you can sort of control how
this is true.
Crunchy it is quite easily.
And it is
I had
Weetabix to the power of Weetabix.
It is probably one of the it's a staple cereal. It's it's the only thing that can sort of combat you in terms of
Wait a second.
Well, no, Weetabix Minis are actually the best.
What are the staple cereals?
Okay, I think we can probably do this simultaneously.
Weetabix, cornflakes and shreddies, basically.
What about Rice Krispies?
No, that's just
that's for children.
Yeah, but like that little, it's still a core.
You're a child, Chris. Next you're going to be telling me Cocoa Pops is a staple.
No, because Cocoa Pops is just chocolate covered Rice Krispies.
What about the white chocolate Cocoa Pops though? What are they? Are they just Rice Krispies?
I mean,
or...
I love white chocolate, but fuck white chocolate in cereal. Just straight up. It is. I like white chocolate because it's milky. What white chocolate does not need is the addition of more milk. It is already 90%
enough milk.
You
can have dark chocolate flavoured cereal. It will cease to be dark chocolate flavoured cereal when you actually eat it.
When you put dark chocolate into a cereal, it becomes milk chocolate. When you put milk stuff in it, it kind of becomes this nice mixture of white and milk chocolate. When you put white chocolate in cereal, I think it ceases to be chocolate, because I do not think there is enough chocolate left in there for it to be classified legally as chocolate.
The main issue I had with white chocolate Cocoa Pops was that it didn't turn the milk brown. And that's Cocoa Pops
chocolate Cocoa Pops.
That's like Cocoa Pops' main selling point, is it makes the milk go brown.
Why is that a selling point?
Oh, it sells it to kids.
Because chocolate.
I don't understand the
basically, you have
psychology.
chocolate. You have cocoa.
It's almost as if the very concept of cereal is angled towards immature individuals.
We'll get to that point later. We'll add that as a category later. But I would say that, like with Cocoa Pops, I think the idea is that it is a guilt-free way of having chocolate milk for breakfast. So you can pretend that you are not having chocolate milk.
You trying to tell me eating Cocoa Pops is guilt-free? That shit is so sugary.
I was never allowed. I loved Cocoa Pops as a kid, but I was never allowed them.
I was allowed Weetabix Minis.
Sugary.
I was allowed the chocolate flavour of Weetabix Minis, and I must say,
when we went on holiday,
best.
we were allowed to get the little packets.
Oh, the variety packs.
We had the variety, and that's the only time we got to have Cocoa Pops or anything like that. It's devastating.
In a little sort of pouch.
Mainly had
Capri Sun's worth of Cocoa Pops.
Ill all the time.
Right.
With my
none of this has been to do with crunchiness.
I mean, yeah. Okay. None of this is going to do. Can you actually make an argument?
Well, like I said,
make an argument, Matt.
You've picked the one category that toast outright wins every time, because cereal.
At least make an effort.
Yeah, you gotta give it a try.
Well, I start.
Otherwise, he's going to get a second category, and he's going to be like, "Oh well,
milk,
milkiness,
milkness."
I think that
there are. It depends on the cereal, but certain cereals are certainly. They have, when you get that crunch, and is nicer than the crunch of a slice of toast, because toast is, it's just, it's a bit too crunchy, if you ask me.
Look at him. You can tell he doesn't believe what he's saying. You can tell he's lying. This man is a man without any conviction in what he's claiming.
Well, I've got nothing else. I'm just.
I feel like I'm gonna have to stop this there, because I feel like it's floundering.
Toast is somewhat time sensitive, as you need to get it right. I think he has seen a toaster. You've got to Crunchy Nut, Cookie Crisp. Depends on how much milk is either submerged or not. That was my point. The Weetabix is controllable. It is a staple cereal. Depends on the cereal. Nice than the crunch on toast. Very unconvincing.
It's the fact that, sure, I mean, if you said that with enough conviction, I would have put that in as a point towards it, but you just didn't seem convinced by what was coming out of your mouth.
Everyone can tell you didn't believe what you were saying. That was depressing. Right, who won then?
Well, who? I wonder who.
Okay, Matt, it's your round. I've been mean. I've got to say.
Well, let's go with one of the most important things with all foods is just flavour. So flavour.
You made a critical.
I know. I really. I don't care. I don't care about. It's toast versus cereal. I don't care. I'll eat both for breakfast.
seemed a lot
we haven't begun the second category, and already you've capitulated immediately.
Despite the fact I don't care a lot about this, I should probably just argue for cereal, just because I feel like, despite the fact I don't care, at least I'd put up more of a fight.
Yeah, you'd give it a shot. That's just
it's toast versus cereal. What are we doing, boys?
You just said what we're doing, and then you were like, "No, but I like this one." We told you to choose the podcast idea today, and you were just like, "Toast versus cereal, I suppose." And then you're like, "Turns out I don't actually give a shit."
Yeah.
Chris, do you want to jump in?
Cereal.
Save the podcast.
I'm supposed to be judging.
We're swapping it.
Immediately I'm going to say that flavour of cereal. There's enough variety in flavours of cereals for it to certainly hold its own against toast and the many spreads you can put on toast. Which I know it's you could argue there's an unlimited variety of flavours for toast. Compared to cereals.
Stop arguing his point.
I don't have to do anything.
Okay, I feel like you want to judge this, and I will jump in as a very uninfused cereal.
Oh my god!
Who doesn't love a bowl of cereal for its flavour?
Is that? I think what you should do is you should type "Who doesn't love a bowl of cereal" and then copy paste it for the next fucking 5 categories. Because it's just going to be it's just like, but cereal's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing, boys. I'm sorry. The only other argument I can say is I prefer the flavours of cereals over the flavours of toast.
There is enough variety in the field. Who doesn't love a bowl of cereal? We can't do that. We have to make this. How long into this are we?
I have no idea.
Where are we at? We're at 35. Bear in mind that about 10 minutes of this was me fiddling with the setup.
I can't do this. This is so. I'm enjoying watching that flounder. This is so good. From my perspective, I'm having a brilliant time. This is outrageous.
Okay, I think what should happen is that the judge should decide the categories.
Yeah. Okay, let's
so
do the category of flavour. I think flavour is a little bit unfair as it's a little bit too subjective.
Also,
okay.
Yeah, well, it's just like as Matt says, and I immediately noticed when he said it. There's an infinite number of things you can put on toast.
You could make the same argument for cereal if you wanted to.
Not really. You can't put meat flakes in it.
You could if you wanted.
It would be a bad idea because the problem is that everything in cereal has to go with milk, which is inherently limiting. Compared with everything has to go with bread or maybe butter and a push.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's settle down a little bit. Okay,
you need a gavel.
We're changing how this is working. So you got to pick the first category, which means that because I'm going to be making the rest of the categories, I'm going to be giving cereal because goddamn they need it. A veto. And if you think it is a category that you don't think is fair or arguable, you can veto once. You get that ability once.
Wait, does toast also get this ability?
No, because you've got to pick the first category. And you're also
I understand.
And
that's fair.
He needs all the help he can get. So
we're already giving handicaps out to cereal.
Okay, so I am going to talk I think I'm going to go for some out there categories because I feel like that is the only way I can help.
Yeah. Okay.
So
no, I agree.
So I'm going to go for the. Our next category is social etiquette.
Which you've spelt
Etiquette.
Completely wrong.
Etiquette.
Etiquette.
Okay. Who starts? I'm guessing Matt starts. So I start.
The only argument I was about to make is just going to work for toast as well.
Do you want to use your veto power?
No, because I don't know what else is coming up.
Yeah, you veto social etiquette, and he just goes, "All right, crunchiness again."
So I'm saying for social etiquette, I'll give some description about the category. I'm saying that not only am I talking about how this food stuff is used in kind of a social context, like you're down with the family in the morning and you're all eating it, how does it lend itself well to that? But also kind of the how appropriate it is to bring up in conversation, how much people enjoy talking about it, kind of the discussion around it and kind of the social standing of said options.
Well, I, for one, love talking about cereal, as I've already demonstrated at this point. Alright. Picture this, right? You're in a hotel. You go downstairs for the breakfast in the morning. Everything's laid out. You've got the continental stuff on the table. You walk up and you got to go. And you just quickly twist that little handle. Get your cereal in your bowl. Splash of milk to the table, and you're out of everyone's way. You're sat with your family at the table. You're not getting in the way of everyone else. Toaster, you're forming a queue of people who are waiting for that bread to go through one of those terrible hotel toasters that runs it on a little conveyor belt. And people are going to get annoyed with you because then you decide to use all of the last jam spreads on your one slice of toast, and then they're left without anything for half an hour whilst the waiters have to go and get more jam.
He pulled this one out. He had a good job.
that was a pretty good argument.
That was succinct and convincing. Well done.
That's it. That's all I got.
You know what? Fair enough. Well, I mean, when you said social etiquette, my mind immediately jumped to the fact that.
1 second. So my points first off for the audio viewers.
Oh, okay, sure. Yep.
Well, I for one love talking about cereal. Picture this: in a hotel, go downstairs, got that continental stuff, twist that old handle, then you are done with the family. Toaster.
Then you are done with family.
Toaster, you are making a queue in the shitty hotel toaster. People get pissed off about jam levels. Big queues. People famously annoyed by queues. I think we can all agree with those points.
Sure.
There we go. So toast, make your counter argument.
What do we call it when we celebrate a person's achievements and we and we all take the time socially to celebrate someone or something or some concept we all mutually agree is a good thing? That's right. We call it a toast. There is a reason for this. It is because nobody hates toast. Toast is universal. Toast is accepted across all cultures and all planets. Everyone, anywhere you go in the galaxy, they love toast. Now, I don't know if in Star Wars anyone has ever actually been shown to have a toaster. I do know that in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy they have little toast lightsabers, so it's not unlikely. I mean, they already have the technology present, but I'm pretty sure it would be a completely universal thing no matter where you go. I think toast is pretty strong in the kind of cultural zeitgeist of the day. People talk about toast all the time. You've got people like the Toast of London. That's toast. You've got the Toast Kid from the Bravest Warriors. You've got some other toast-related things, I'm sure. And frankly, when you're sitting down for breakfast with the in-laws after a sort of, you've woken up a bit late, you're still in your dressing gown, it's all a bit awkward, and you go, can I you sit down with for breakfast and it's a full English, and you go, I'd like cereal, and then your girlfriend's father, who you were going to ask for his hand for her hand and you need to impress him. He's not a hard man to win over. You ask him if you've got any shreddies, and he stops reading the Times, folds it up, puts it to one side, and looks at you with an intense, stern gaze, and says, "Now, son, you're not one of those serial cookies, are you?" And you have to and you inevitably have to backtrack, or it's game over, and you got to go find another girlfriend, another prospective wife. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, and I'm sure it's a very relatable concept. Now I'm seeing Chris frantically typing as I talk more and more bollocks, but I'm going to call it there, and I'm going to say that's the end of my argument. I'm impressed that you can type fast.
What do we call it when we celebrate someone's achievement and we all take the time to celebrate a good thing? Toast.
It's too big.
This is because toast is loved by all, on all planets. Hitchhiker's Guide has lightsaber toasters. Toast Kid and Toast of London. Now, the story you were going very fast through the story, so I had to really put this one down. So I was kind of running out of time with Toast Kid and Toast of London. Lord, bit awkward. Full English and ask for cereal. Want to marry girlfriend's dad. Easily impressed. Apparently, 1960s grandparent who hates hippie. Sounds like some deep-ass trauma.
You're at the you're at your in-laws, yet you're asking for your girlfriend's hand in marriage. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Well, I just mean they're not
yet
the
in-laws.
They're future
They're not
in-laws.
yet the in-laws. Well,
not if
you're going to have to. You know what? I think my best material in that particular argument was the first half, and by writing so much, you've completely fucked the format. So if you could just be a very kind boy and delete the entire story, that would make life a lot easier. Because currently, we won't have a total. Oh, what have you done? That did not work.
I'll just lower that. The sizes as I type. You still need it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can do this. There we go. So, I would say that those some good points made at the beginning of that. I have a couple of issues with Toast's argument. Mainly, I would say that when it comes to social etiquette, I would say hitchhikers don't rank that highly on social etiquette. Mainly because you're already intruding on someone's privacy by asking for a lift somewhere. So I think the fact that one of your arguments for how socially etiquette it is from a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, using lightsaber toasters.
I feel like he's missed the point I was making, but whatever.
You did make quite a leap.
I know it's loved by all. I mean,
I was just saying it's a lot. There's more examples of toast existing in our kind of our culture than there is cereal.
I'd say that also the whole story about the in-laws seems like some trauma rather than a cereal related thing. And also, I think the argument in the previous argument about the queue at a hotel for the continental breakfast is just such a stellar point. and also to keep it interesting.
That's the main reason why.
We'll give it to cereal.
Fair enough. All right, what's the next cat?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
It's a special round.
Hell yeah.
It's the magical ability round. How magical is the type of cereal? Uh-oh. There we go. Toast.
Can I get a bit of context as to magical ability, please?
It's the bonus round. It's a magical ability round. You can. It's. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Is this the magical abilities that Toast does have, or that it should have?
I'm gonna say that you can say how you can argue whatever point you want. It just has to have magical abilities somewhere in your argument.
Okay. All right. Here's my argument. If you had the magical ability to infinitely produce toast, or the magical ability to infinitely produce cereal, you would always pick toast. And the reason is toast has more uses, especially when it's infinite and like it comes out like it's not bread, but it comes out as toast, right? That is infinitely more useful because, and this is the key reason, toast does not need it is what we describe in the business as touchable carbs. Okay, cereal, right? What am I going to do? Oh, just cereal, and it's just I've got a pile of cereal in my hands all of a sudden. What am I going to do with that? Ever, literally ever. Okay. If I just toast, bam. Maybe granted it's not got anything on it, but I'd say toast is more edible on in of itself than just raw, dry cereal is. Okay. What kind of a monster eats just cereal? Just munch. That's disgusting and evil and depraved. Also, you don't even have a spoon. Evidently, it is clear to me that toast would be far more useful. I mean, you could use it as a building material. You could probably, if you had enough of it, you could use it to float on water, I would imagine, maybe, perhaps. Cereal provably doesn't float on water. Just shrivels up and sinks. Shit, well, it does actually float. That's beside the point.
Are you sure toast floats on water?
I'm going to say yes. When I have enough of it. Also, toast. If you had infinite toast, you could make like dominoes. You could have there's stuff you could do with toast. You can't do anything with a pile of grains.
Okay, so the argument that I currently have, as it stands, if you had the magical ability to infinitely make toast or cereal, you would always pick toast. The reason is that toast has more uses, especially when infinite, brackets, get the fuck out of here, bread, close bracket. Since it is infinitely useful, bracket, infinite carbs. Was your original reasoning for that? Cereal, useless. Granted, there is nothing on the toast. What kind of a monster eats dry cereal? It is evil. No spoon. Clear to Jack, oh wow, I love toast. That it is brill. Brackets. It's wrong about the floating capacity of both cereal and toast. Could make dominoes.
Could make dominoes. There we go. I really want to focus on that last point because I feel like it was maybe the best.
Right. So, well, now there's one particular type of cereal that I think you should. It's called Lucky Charms, and those things are so sugary that I'm pretty sure that kids are convinced when they eat it they've got some sort of magical abilities. It's almost psychedelic in what it does. You eat enough of that stuff, you're convinced you're a wizard, Harry. That's there is nothing more magical than those Lucky Charms, and the feeling that you get when you eat those Lucky Charms until you're inevitably sick the following morning or like half an hour later because you've consumed far too much sugar. And if you want to talk about any other kind of cereal, you just pour sugar on it until you have the same reaction.
So really,
sugar is my
magic comes from the sugar.
Yeah, but you don't put sugar on toast. That would just be weird. Whereas
honey,
cereal is there.
Marmalade, jam.
Not sugary enough. Not sugary enough.
Jam isn't sugar. Honey isn't sugary
enough. Not for.
You're saying that honey is as sugary as sugar.
Yeah.
Is that the argument you're trying to make?
It's like being like, nah, lemonade's not nearly as wet as water. It's like, well, I suppose not, but it's kind of impossible. I have seen people eat sugar toast. That's the thing. It's deplorable, and I disagree, but people do it.
Is that not sugar bread that's been toasted, though, as opposed to...
Get in the bin.
Pouring sprinkling sugar on...
Everything is just bread, but it's been toasted when it's toast. That is what toast is.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about like literally taking a slice of toast and sprinkling sugar over it. So, like you would a bowl of cereal.
Like butter first, but toast second. Like sugar second.
So, there is one particular type of cereal, Lucky Charms, so sugary, it gives kids a psychedelic trip. When you have it, you are a wizard. Happy.
I said Harry.
Harry. Sorry, I think that was just me trying to keep up with that. I think that's the fastest he's gone in terms of his descriptions.
It was good.
I believe it is a Class A drug. Side effects include vomiting. Just add sugar to any cereal. Sugar with toast is a no-go. And then I put in, because as I mentioned, you could do it, but you're socially outcast from doing it, which I think you are now drawing divisions within the toast community itself. I would say that in Toast's argument, it is a theoretical scenario on the magic, whereas with cereal, I have been given a tangible magical effect.
No. Counterpoint. Matt's entire argument is just give drugs to kids.
That's why they're elite. Why aren't Lucky Charms in the UK?
I'm so happy they are not here.
Oh, I am very happy that they're not here. God, they're so bad for you. But I would say in this particular case, cereal definitely makes a better argument for.
Well, we're taking some interesting political stances with this podcast. I like it.
Yeah. So, I think next one is cultural diversity.
We are not equipped to do this.
Did we already establish in the last argument that toast wins this one because it's loved by all?
Toast is also loved by all.
You can veto it if you want.
I just think we're not really well equipped to talk about cultural diversity.
I think this one might be the
one. We proved that with the fruit episode, where we're just like, what half of these fruits? Fuck off.
Disagree.
I think this is the one we veto. I
don't know. Okay.
I know what I'm good at, and that isn't it.
We're not exactly three people equipped to talk about anything like that either.
No. I've got a degree in anthropology. It's just that, it's more for
history. That's not now.
Well, again.
All right, Mr. Anthropologist. When was toast invented? When was cereal invented? Whichever one was invented first wins.
What came first, the toast or the cereal?
Depends what you classify as cereal, because it's kind of been slowly evolved over many years. Same with toast.
Well, toast is pretty definitively just toasted bread, whereas cereal is like...
Speaking of it, you guys can tell me about the history of cereal and toast.
I don't know. Alright, we're doing some alternate history today, chaps.
Yeah, I can see how accurate you are.
Do you know?
Roughly?
That's a
I'm
good
not
start.
an expert, but I have... I've dug in places. I know of diets of anthropological groups and groups that we find in archaeology.
Digging in Sheffield, found some toast, pretty cool.
Found some toast, found some mummified toast in the sarcophagus of Do you know what I mean? Go on then, cereal. You can start with the history of cereal.
Well,
it's either going to be historical accuracy or entertainment value that I'm voting for this.
I think the history of cereal is certainly going to be more interesting than toast, because toast is toast. It's one thing and one thing only. It's the spreads and what you put on the toast that defines the toast. Cereal, we've gone from Weetabix to Lucky Charms and back again in the space of 2 arguments. So, what was I going to say?
Give me the origin story.
Right, so the origin story I'm thinking is like some farmer has had some sort of like, he's got his cereals growing in one field and he's got his cows in the other field, and one day he's probably eaten some Lucky Charms and got to the state, had this epiphany to go, hang on a minute, what if I go and get the milk out of that thing and spray it all over my crops and then eat I'm pretty sure that's how all the history books will tell you that cereal first began.
I would have imagined that it was like he had this bucket of milk and he was walking back to the cottage, and then like a sack of grain fell in to the bucket, and he was like, "Oh fuck, my milk's ruined." And then he saw that all the like rolled oats had like started to sort of,
probably.
And he's like, actually, that might be kind of nice.
I prefer the Lucky Charms.
I love that when you're talking about the origin of cereal,
Lucky Charms
was the cause and also the effect. History was born.
So I think the history of cereal is more interesting. Toast is one thing only, and I think this is a fantastic point that he's finally made that I've been waiting for him to make, which is defined from its spreads, not actual toast, which is something he could have brought up many times previously, but he never did that jump. We've gone through a lot of diverse cereal types. We've talked about Weetabix and Lucky Charms.
And back again.
And Crunchy Nut. And the history is some farmer in some field had some Lucky Charms and had a psychedelic epiphany to put cereal on his crop, and he ate it. History was born. Let's imagine that, mixing both of the stories. He was having a trip. He accidentally dropped some corn in his bucket, and he was like, "What should I do, talking tree?" And he was like, "You should eat it." And so, "I'm not sure that's a good idea, but okay." And he had to like, "This isn't actually too bad." And then after a while he's gone, it's gone soggy. But I can still market this.
See, I was picturing like some guy who's like sat in his field with his cows, and suddenly turns around and goes, and like gets spooked out by it, starts attacking it, ends up with some, like a bucket of milk, goes running away,
kills his cow,
goes running over into the cereal field, drops the milk, and then sort of like trips over as he does it, and is then just like moving along, grinding with his like mouth wide open, just eating up the soiled cereal and milk. Is what it would actually look like, but in his mind, he's come up with cereal and somehow brought that into a tangible thing.
Fantastic. The history of toast. Well, everyone knows that sliced bread was a major invention and a pinnacle of the 20th century. Hence the phrase, the best thing since sliced bread. Now, before sliced bread was invented and you had some degree of homogeneity in your widths of your slices of toast, your bread. I don't think toast was probably a thing. So I can't beat you on the fact that toast is somewhat of a recent invention, but counterpoint, most of the I would say generally the recent inventions are the better ones, because you're going to invent all the dumb shit first when you're an uneducated little medieval farmer tripping on Lucky Charms, as opposed to the internet or quantum computing or modern medicine or rockets and stuff. I could go on about all the cool things we invented in the 20th century.
I don't want to be that guy, but I do want to say that would you be able to make counting quantum computing without the previously discovered technology of electricity? And also the same for every single point you just made there requires a previous technology in order to exist.
This is absolutely true, but toast is not one of those things. Toast does not require anyone.
You literally just said
it requires sliced bread.
Sliced bread, toast probably doesn't exist.
Well, look, natural things aren't automatically better. Just because it required another thing, of course, everything requires something else, except for some reason cereal, which is an Ouroboros of fate, and creates itself through some sort of sinful time travel. I don't get it, but I don't claim to understand. That's Matt's fiction. At least mine's narratively consistent and slightly true.
The one thing I agree with all of what you said is that it would be a pretty depressing worldview if new technologies weren't better than old ones. If you weren't improving...
I also like how you said, at least mine is narratively consistent, yet I've not said a story about how toast was made.
Right, okay, you want a story about how toast was made? What I think happened was the guy who invented, or whoever invented the bread slicer that they use to slice loaves of bread up into proper nice good slices, thought, well, he didn't do anything. What happened was they went to show their underling that here's all my slices, employee, and then the employee had something that was hot, like a fire, and some bread fell on the fire, and the employee had real quick reflexes because he just had his morning coffee and he was all pepped up for the day, and he snatches the toast out of the fire before it burns, and it's hot and it's toasty. And he thinks, he's like, he goes to throw it in the bin, and he's like, hang on. And he feels the kind of nice sort of firm, reassuring consistency that toast is known for, and he has a brainwave. Hang on, who even needs bread anymore? And he immediately quits his job for the sliced bread man, and he goes, nah, none of this. I'm off. Start my own company. I'm making toasters. I want to figure out a way of doing this properly. It is a story of ingenuity, entrepreneurship, defiance, revolution, one might even say. It's far more interesting than some dickhead farmer tripped whilst he was tripping.
I mean...
Why am mine always so ridiculously much bigger? I can't even read that. Like, it will not be.
Okay. In the history of toast, everyone knows sliced bread, 20th century. Couldn't be more wrong. We'll get past that one. Prior to sliced bread, toast props didn't exist. But counterpoint, the more recent inventions are more important. At least mine is narratively consistent. Here's the story. The guy who invented the toe bread slicer showed his underling. They had something hot like a fire. I was rushing at this bit, but it was like, fell into the fire. The employee had really quick reflexes, had coffee earlier. Which, again, coffee was probably an invention after sliced bread and toast, but... Again, we'll forget that. I
don't think you're correct.
We'll forget that narrative consistency.
I'm sorry, you chose to forgive that Lucky Charms created cereal as a concept, but you're deciding to point out that...
was reassured by consistency, immediately quits jobs and starts his own company to make toasters. Very powerful. And I'd say that both of them, aside from the Lucky Charms, if it was something I was making the psychedelic bit, I could see that story happening on the cereal side, but I think the toast side has so many inconsistencies. Number one, he has immediately made toast and has gone, I'm going to make the toaster.
Yes.
Well, think about
all
this
the best
way.
ideas
Sliced
come
bread-
fully formed to your head.
Sliced bread was made in the 1700s by Lord. Well, it was slightly before then, and then it was turned into sandwiches by Lord something sandwich. So sliced bread was around before that, and around about that time they probably had discovered.
It was actually he was an earl.
Yeah,
it was the earl sandwich.
I think it'll be 1500s, 1600s. Wouldn't be surprised for toast. Cereal, very, very, very old. Because it used to be you can get rice cereal where you replace the cereal with rice, and that is very much like basically a porridge.
Yeah.
So like cereal's been around for ages and ages and ages. In fact, probably before they had pretty much figured out psychedelics. So again, just two very different timelines here.
I thought apparently monkeys figured out psychedelics. It wasn't even human beings that figured that shit out.
Yeah, it was basically. I think like it's mainly in Asia. It wasn't really prevalent. It's kind of more of a European, African thing, or the whole psychedelic stuff. You know, don't worry. I am qualified for this. I am an archaeologist. I have done my research and ancient historian.
I think the thing about the
this is
bread
very
slicer though,
because I think both of those are funny. I don't think they're very historically accurate in either case.
Well, that was never going to happen.
I mean, the one
I think there is an insistence that the most recent inventions are the most important, which I would certainly disagree with. I'd say that it's not really. I don't really think there's an equivocal.
I didn't say most important. I just said best.
I think again, I wouldn't 100% agree with that.
Of course not. You're a bloody old thing lover.
He's an archaeologist.
The archaeologist digging up old dumb shit no one else cares about.
That's a computer scientist.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, he's gonna.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I'm busy living in the now. I'm literally holding a USB stick as we argue about this.
I'm just saying that like there are building blocks that need to be made.
Yeah, which we can respect, but I mean, look, we're not talking to each other on a wooden wagon, are we? We're talking to each other on a modern, cool computer thing,
which was one of the first inventions.
Yeah, but buildings are pretty sick.
Sedentary life.
Buildings pretty sick. Computers.
You wouldn't really have computers without buildings because
I'm
otherwise,
not disputing that.
I would say shelter, similar to food and other such inventions such as meals. More important than computers. I think computers are very cool and very good.
Food is not an invention, Chris. Get out the bin and
yes,
into
it
a
was.
bigger bin.
I mean,
it's not an invention.
Toast is from a domesticated plant, which is an invention from people domesticating different plants and animals.
But the concept of a meal is not an invention. Eating things is not an invention.
Yeah, because it used to just be that people just used to eat whatever it was. The idea,
it's still a meal.
The idea of having meals throughout a day, kind of sectioning them off, is a very early development of. You see lines like "keep stuff." It's not for a meal later. They don't pre-plan it. Like
squirrels.
They bury nuts in the ground for hibernation.
Correct.
That is not a meal. That is
they store food for future use.
That is a food stockpile.
But when they have it later, it's going to be a meal.
Ridiculous.
I'm inclined to agree with that, to be honest, Chris.
Yes, but it's not the same.
By your own definition, which I disagree of what a meal is. Squirrels have meals.
It's not the same. A meal is a pre-planned kind of selection of foods put together. Whereas normally there isn't really, in nature, there isn't really much of a care between kind of...
You're telling me a caveman never was like, hey, I got some
Yes, it
cherries.
Was, because that's what invented it.
Those are some nuts.
Neolithic era.
I'm going to have some of them.
That's the Neolithic.
Are you saying that the caveman
it's a very early invention.
I'm going to go and hunt
I'm not saying that halfway through the Greeks they went, oh, wait a second, I've just realised we can plan food. This is a very early thing that happened in human development. You've made me so angry that I just point to cereal.
Oh my word! He agreed with me.
You had it, but then you started for some reason attacking my subject of choice, and so I've given it to cereal.
I'm sorry, you attacked my subject of choice, which is the now and not the future. All the cool shit that's important.
It's not important. I just say that saying that the most recent inventions are the best. I'd say that some of them are the best, but I wouldn't say more recent inventions are just better than older inventions. It's just such a stupid argument to make, in my opinion. I think that there's a mix between the two. I would say. I'm not saying that old technology is superior to new technology.
Hop on your train and piss off. All right.
What's the next category?
Wow.
I'm done.
Would it be future?
Where's the future of toast?
Oh, there we go. I don't know. 4-dimensional toast, virtual toast, Bluetooth toast. I'm not sure.
I was gonna go future, but now I'm not too sure.
We're getting an increasingly biased judge.
You're on your last legs, Mr. Toast. You better have a good argument for these next ones. And maybe don't attack the judge
comments,
so much.
In the comments, the vote of the people is the only vote I really care about. Let us know in the comments who you think wins this.
Still win. In fact, I do not. I think currently it shouldn't matter. Okay, I'm going to go storage.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
Well, toast is and never was a thing to be stored. It can be stored in your face because you can eat it, and by that judge, it compacts very well because it's got a lot of holes in it, and so it's actually pretty good to be stored in your face. But yeah, it's not really, not a lot to say here because it literally isn't a thing that you store because you do it and you have it. You don't, it's not like pate or ice.
I'm thinking more, you have to store the makeup ingredients of toast, which is bread. So,
well, the makeup ingredients of bread is cereal. So, I mean, where do we stop?
Do you buy cereal and then make the toast at home out of your?
I'm sure someone does. I'm sure someone makes bread themselves.
People use flour.
Isn't your dad a baker?
Yeah, and that's why.
He makes bread out of grains.
You want to argue about how you store bread.
No one's look, bread is a temporary item and everyone agrees with it as a temporary item. Everyone understands that, everyone's respectful of that, because bread doesn't need to last long because you eat it quick because it's yummy. I'm not here trying to store shit. Storing shit just means shit. This is a thing I don't want to eat now, which why would I want to eat it later? That's
because
ridiculous.
You've got a whole loaf of bread. What are you going to say?
I'm going to eat it in a couple of days.
I only wanted 2 slices. Get out of here.
I want the bread now. I don't understand.
I have literally thrown you the softest. I've thrown the softest ball towards you, and you have just gone no. Fuck storage. This is a category I've designed perfectly so bread is superior.
Well, okay, I will say right. So if you bread, bread does go a bit stale, but it's not like cereal where you have to store it in a pre-packaged specialized atmosphere of purely CO2 or whatever the fuck it is. That's right. Cereal has a cardboard box and then a plastic bag, and that is wasteful. And that is Greta. Me and Greta have been having many discussions about cereal, and we both agree that it's not long for this for the modern eco-friendly world. You can talk all you want about history, but for the world going forward in a responsible manner, toast is the only way forward.
And what about, say, I don't want to try and feed you a little bit more, but say if you wanted to freeze cereal or bread, you think one of them would be more easy
bread is a solid. I freeze all my bread. I only believe in having it now, but I do freeze it anyway, just for shits and giggles. Whereas, I'd be impressed if you could freeze cereal. I haven't even had the thought because I'm just not about that life. But I don't know, Matt. What do you think about freezing cereal?
It's not something that's crossed my mind before. I suppose you could do it.
No.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
I think people who have cereal aren't really all.
I'm not about that. I'm not about that.
Great argument that definitely didn't need any prodding in the right direction.
People who
you shouldn't be picking topics expecting me to pick a thing, you plonker.
I was expecting you to make an argument, really, not say it is not a thing to be stored. Fuck storage in the storage round. I was expecting an argument. This is the same thing that happened in the second round for cereal, where you just went, fuck it, I give up. I don't know what the fuck. Just fuck this, am I right? Oh, fuck it out. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck off. Oh, this isn't fair. Oh, no. Oh, this is terrible. You're going to have to pick up all of that shit. A tantrum about storage as a category. Despite the fact, in terms of comparing toast and cereal, it is the softest ball. There were so many arguments you could make, and you went, no, this isn't fair. Cereal's always going to win this round. Fuck off. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh. I'm trying to make this a full episode here by getting it to round 7 and make it equal. But apparently, people just want to throw in the towel halfway through on both sides. It's like,
I'm so glad that
I didn't even come up with this idea. You came up with this idea. You're the one who was responsible for having toast versus cereal, and you couldn't even make it through round 5. Oh my fucking headphones have run out of batteries. I can now change this. I'm sorry,
hang on. The last one's worth double points anyway. I'm so glad that I thought with a debate-based kind of podcast that we'd get kind of heated. But no, it turns out the judge is the one that gets deeply triggered by every round so far.
If we ever do a debating thing again in the future, if we try and make a podcast out of a debating thing, first off, that lad, which on my side, I need to remember, it's that side for you guys, but this side for people at home watching this, aka the pot, he is not going on to the debating side of either side again. He is the judge, because I have had to do the most ridiculous categories in order for him to make a solid argument.
He started off strong with crunchiness. It's a social, that took a magical ability.
And then when I went to flavour, apparently that was a step too far. Despite the fact that most people who eat cereal probably eat it for the flavour.
Oh my god!
Ridiculous. And then suddenly, after having 3 stupid questions, going to something normal, suddenly toast has gone completely off the rail in terms of what it is. If you do keep this up, there's going to be no winner of this. I was going to say no winner. Terrible. Now, you get to make your argument, and I hope for the next 2 categories you guys don't dick about with these ridiculous tantrums about not being able to argue storage or flavour, which in either case are 2 of probably the most important categories when it comes to a food stuff. It's the flavour of it and the storage of it. I'd say those are the 2 most important. And somehow those are the 2 categories we've had the biggest issue. However, get to magical ability and suddenly no issues with that category. Everyone instantly knows what they're talking about now. Anyway, you need to describe... Come on, argue for cereal. Right. And pretend that I might consider the fact I'm going to give you a point so I don't drag it out to round 7 to make it interesting.
Well, what I was going to say before you told us off was that now toast we all know is made from bread, and where do we keep bread? In the bin, in the bread bin, and there is nothing I want that comes out of a bin. So immediately the storage capacity, the storage methods for cereal is immediately more encouraging and sounds better than eating something out of a bin.
Fuck man, I think you won.
Also, I'm not the kind of person who's really like planning long term of like what like you're saying about storing bread. You know, it lasts a while or it doesn't last a while. I can't quite remember what he said because it was that long ago. But you know, the cereal's always going to be there. You can always get that out the cupboard, pour a bit in your bowl. It's the milk that makes like if it's gone a little bit stale, put a bit more milk in, and it's back to normal, isn't it? Because it's just as soggy as it would have been anyway.
Would you say that cereal's ability to be stored is limited more by the milk associated with it than the cereal?
But there's always milk, though, isn't there? As long as there's cows, there's milk.
as long as there's cows, there's milk. That might be the wisest thing we've ever said on this podcast. Oh, God. Okay. Well,
I think that has definitely got to be, if we ever have a saying on this podcast, I think the old proverb of as long as there's cows, there's milk is certainly our top bit of advice. I would say that yes, I agree with the bin point. Yes, cereal is like a reliable friend. I would disagree that if it's gone stale, you can just add milk and everything's okay. Because with cereal, it's kind of more the flavour kind of goes when it goes stale.
Not for cornflakes or Weetabix. They don't have any flavour.
Stop shit talking your own category. However, I would say that you know, cereal can't be frozen, bread can be frozen. It's not ecologically friendly, and I think in terms of newer technologies, say the most important ones are those trying to protect our environment. So I would certainly agree that that is definitely what we want to go for, and I think in that case,
before you choose one, I would like to say, I think cereal's got it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm willing to concede. So I feel like it was a lot more succinct. It's a lot better. It made a very good point, which is that, you know what, bread bin is a terrible idea, a terrible way of storing things. It's a bin. That's not encouraging.
No.
Who wants this?
This is why kids eat cereal.
Give it to cereal.
Because
I'm
kids
thinking for
kids will eat things out of a bin. That's a bad argument.
I don't. Previously, you said I don't care about the point. I'm going to let the people decide, and then you have immediately gone from that to 10 minutes later being like, "Yeah, I concede cereal."
No. Ultimately, it is down to the people, and that but I can't know that right now. I'm just saying. My opinion is that he's won. And I'm assuming his opinion is that he's won.
Well,
so
my opinion is personal.
My opinion, I'm the judge. Brilliant.
From this entire debate, my opinion has swung all the way around. Originally I was very much on the side of toast, but with the way that this
You're not a very good debater, Matt. Admittedly, neither am I.
Oh my god. I can tell you someone, as somebody who enjoyed debating at school and was a part of some of the clubs there, this is honestly killing me.
I used to be on a debate.
It's not my fault that I like to... Look, Chris, I like to get along with people.
I thought the last fucking episode that we did with the card games was the one that broke me, but no, this is... The last one I was just lost for the entire time, thinking like, what the fuck are we talking about? Whereas this time, I am legitimately on the edge. Fuck me.
Well, look, it's all right. I mean, we've got the last one is all everything's to play for because it's double points, right? So
I'm just gonna.
Oh shit! Yeah, the last one is double.
That's why I was being like, no, I'll concede. Yeah. Give it to cereal. I'll win it. I'll tie it up.
At least bring it out as a draw.
Okay. I'm gonna.
That's the best you can do now is draw. You can't win.
The last category is going to be 3 points. So if cereal wants the draw, they're going to have to win this round as well. And that means Tosh would only have to win... Actually, no. 4 points.
No, if he won...
4 points for the final round.
Okay.
So basically, none of the other rounds mattered.
Yeah.
Unless you won all of them.
I'm just going to say it is 20-4. So I've got 20 minutes left. if we can get both,
Okay.
I reckon we can at least get the next one done.
And we can leave the final one. Temperature. This is the classic hot versus cold.
This is me starting.
Argument.
Yeah. Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm a cold boy. I like the cold. I'm all about ice and snow and cold fresh milk for my cold fresh cereal that I store in the fridge because that's where it's cold and fresh.
I like that didn't come up in the storage section, that you store your cereal in the fridge.
That's horrendous. That's worse than that. I'm glad. I'm surprised I didn't. If I heard that in the last round, it would have been going to church, because putting your cereal in the fridge is a crime.
I'm all about that cold fresh life, baby.
Warm things are empirically better because there's more energy, and everyone loves energy. No one wants... Alright, the bad guy is always cold and evil, right? You know, the Night King, Frozone, that one from Narnia.
Was Frozone the bad guy?
Absolutely, I haven't seen the film. Anyways, warm shit equals good shit, okay? Get it while it's hot. That's a phrase that you hear people say a lot. I don't know if you've noticed, but basically everything bar salads in the culinary world is served warm. And you know what everyone hates? Salads. Ergo, evidently, it's the temperature that's important, and warm is better. Where do you go on holiday? Iceland or Barbados?
I've been to Iceland. I haven't been to Barbados. I've got postcards.
Of course you would. Yeah, but we've established that you're wrong.
I'm a cold boy.
So, I have to say that, I wasn't really on the side of warm. I like cold temperatures, but I do agree that food should be warm, and I think I was definitely won over by...
What about ice cream?
Salads.
Or,
You're talking to someone who was lactose intolerant for 10 years.
Or,
so
alcohol.
Actually, probably the worst thing you could have mentioned.
Or like alcohol.
Alcohol.
Beyond red wine.
I like a warm mulled wine.
You ever had a Jamaican coffee?
Is that just a coffee
chili
with rum in it?
Fuck yeah, it is. Best kind of coffee.
Yeah.
It's like an Irish coffee.
Best way to have rum, also.
I might have a Jamaican coffee. Let's have some.
They're very good.
But the vast majority of beverages...
I think I can agree with
consumed
everything
cold.
that was said there, apart from Frozone being a bad guy.
Frozone is definitely not the bad
Where's
guy.
my super suit? I mean, that's blood curdling. I'm terrified. What a portentous phrase. Right, what's the final?
I think also temperature-wise, all that the Potter's done here is kept on repeating the phrase.
You know me.
I'm a cold boy.
I like the cold. What about that?
I like cold.
A cold milk
Love it
from a
cold.
fridge. He's managed to put the word, like a word that is either literally cold or something to do with cold, like every 5 words.
I can't believe it, but somehow on the final round, because it's 4 points, it's all to play for. What I think we should do is, if we take a break now for football, and I'm going to give you the category before you leave, and then you guys can
think very good
about it. And then when we come back later, we can finish this off, and you guys can show exactly what it is. And of course, I've left the most important category to last.
It's going to be flavour.
It's going to be sexy, yes.
Sexiness.
No. Do not show. No. Stand in your truth.
Sexy,
all right.
yes. The essence of sex within the food. I'm thinking it kind of sets up everything. I think flavour is definitely an element of how sexy a food stuff is. Look at mangoes. Very sexy, and also probably the best fruit. And also it's why, even though I don't like the taste of cherries, I still think cherries are fantastic fruit, because they are pure sex appeal. I think really it is the be-all and end-all of any argument we can make here. So I want you to go away, think about this one, and then when you come back after the football, which, by the way, I don't know how the football's gone, but I feel like that once kind of we know what's happened with the football, we should definitely do an episode about kind of predicting the results.
I love a bit of Crumpington.
Keep a note of that.
Is this all still?
Or as I recently heard it being called.
Had we not made a cut at one point?
No,
come back.
We're still alive.
Still going. So yeah, pause here. We'll be back in a bit, and we'll and we definitely didn't record this bit after we finished the list. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the mild technical difficulties. You've got it all sorted back out. And fortunately enough for you, you have joined us right at the point where we get to the most important and final round, the sexiness round. With me today, representing the side of Toast, is our one and only Jacko. Wow, I thought you love Toast. Would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
Bonjour.
And on the other side, we have the man who eats cereal and
complains about it.
Very confused on whether they actually like it or not. It is my good old friend Laporte. Want to say something a little bit about yourself? Brilliant.
Not really, no.
Not really. Brilliant. Well, let's just go
over a few words. Joining us for a debate tonight.
I got this.
Let's go over to the final section. So,
I mean, history says you do have this.
Update the scores on the doors. Toast has won the crunchiness and temperature round, whereas cereal has won the social etiquette, magical ability, history, and storage rounds.
I feel like this final category is somewhat skewed in my favour based on previous results. We're getting out there.
However, the final category is 4 points, so it's all to play for, as it is in most game shows. None of the other rounds matter. It's just the final round. And to be honest, it is the most important category as well. I hear my dog in the background, getting very excited. I didn't know there was a dog in my building. I call it my dog just because, nobody else acknowledges it whenever I ask about it, so I tend to be the one kind of sorting it. And also...
is it possible it's only real in your...
Yeah, and I do apologise, but I did have to change into my sleep clothes. Anyway,
who's starting, man? I can't remember.
I'd say this time
you
do it
start,
on.
But technically,
the suit is so dusty. I can't stop.
I'm going to ask you.
I've got a sneeze coming. All right, I can't begin for a while. Okay. So you take the stage because this sneeze is on its way, and I will interrupt you at a poignant moment.
I feel like this is going to completely derail my argument. Hash brown, to be honest.
So our current leader in the race, Cereal. Would you like to make the starting argument or the closing argument for this category?
Well, I would like to go second, but if you're still about to sneeze, I will quite happily concede and go first.
I'm still about to sneeze.
That's fair enough.
It's on its way, I swear to God.
There you go.
Well,
law of the sneeze.
A gentleman's agreement, I believe that is.
Yes.
Whoever's about to sneeze gets to go second.
I can't actually type because I've got my cocktail in the way. I'm gonna have to move it over.
Can you remember what my opening?
Why is it that we're more unprofessional when we're wearing suits than ever before?
Can anyone remember what my opening argument was? Because I can't.
Summing up that it was what's not sexy about cereal.
There we go. What's not sexy about cereal? You got that fresh cold milk. You got those nice crisp cereals. I don't think I've ever seen. I can't use that argument. That one's just got. I've just seen the Otibix advert. That one doesn't count. I was going to say I've not seen an advert for cereal that doesn't involve like some sort of supermodel, but the Otibix advert definitely does. It's just got a lorry driver, which, if anything, is.
I can't believe they put all of those sexy people in
I can't think of a single cereal advert that involves a supermodel.
I don't know,
except for the Kellogg's Special K ones, where it's like, eat this fucking exclusively carbs cereal, and you'll probably lose weight. Maybe
that's probably what I'm thinking of. And the fact that it's had that much of like it left that much of an imprint on my brain. Certainly leaves it in a better standing than toast, where you just got that horrible crunch. Because crunchiness, what's that about? We don't care about crunchiness in our breakfast. It just leaves a nasty taste in your mouth by the end of it. That's not sexy at all.
What? No, it doesn't.
It does if you burn the toast.
That's not the end, is it?
Look, alright, the main thing about cereal is that it's got that je ne sais quoi about it that just leaves it in a... Well, okay, do you know what? You've given me a bit of a foot up here with that Special K stuff. Yeah, the Special K leads to a sexier body and a sexier mind, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
Sexier mind.
If you eat Special K, I'm pretty sure you'll be. That's how advertising works, right? Everything they say is true. So
Yeah. Like breakfast.
Special K is my closing argument.
It's special.
Special K. I think those two words speak enough for themselves.
Fuck it, I can't write all of that. I'm leaning over.
What's not sexy about cereal? Got that fresh cold milk and that nice fresh cereal. He said fresh twice. I've not seen an advert for cereal without models. Demonstrably false. Nasty crunchiness and taste.
That's to do with toast.
What if you burn it?
That's
The main thing about cereal is a French proverb.
I wasn't even going to. I was not even going to attempt typing synonym. It's been so long since I did French, and I was terrible at it. So I'm not going to attempt to write that.
I have no idea how to spell that. Special K leads to a sex.
I don't even know where to
start. All adverts are truthful.
Now, if that doesn't convince you, Mr. Secretary, then I don't know what will.
I think you made one good argument there, whereas you can burn toast and that Special K adverts. Apparently, very raunchy Special K. Only doing.
It's got a woman in a bathing suit, and that's about it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But as far as cereal adverts
Frosties
go,
also have a model in a bathing suit as well.
They do, if you're into that furry stuff.
Tony the Tiger. Have you seen the furries on the Tony the Tiger Twitter? They thirsty as fuck. Tony.
They're also bombarded constantly with furry.
Yeah, I know. Furry
nonsense.
Well, I thought that was very interesting.
Well, Matt had the unenviable task of trying to explain why cereal, which is predominantly focused at children and younger demographics, and why it's sexy, which is difficult to get going. But he did, you know what? He did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Which just focus on the one thing to do with diets and nothing else.
Yeah.
I would have gone with how what's that dickhead called? Sugar Puff Man? What's it?
The Honey Monster.
Sugar Puff Man. I have no idea.
I'm sure someone's into him. Right?
Well,
I have no idea.
That's again down like the Tony the Tiger.
You mean the Honey Monster?
Yeah. That's another.
Tony the Tiger.
I mean, he's
one of the more attractive.
Swole as, you know.
He's swole as shit. He's swole as shit. He's a right alpha. Toast.
He's also let me learn my swimming by sponsoring my local swimming pool. And with all the gas line. Tony the Tiger helps me. Yeah, that's how. If you went to go learn swimming, you got your swimming badges, and they were all like Tony the Tiger or something.
All the way up to like 800 meters or like 1,000 meters, I think it was.
1,600, I think it taps out.
That's a ridiculous amount.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah. Up to 2,000 meters.
Very cool, Kellogg's, but as we all know, swimming.
Boring.
It's not sexy unless it's at the beach, and I don't see any swimming lessons at the beach.
No.
It's all scuba diving out there. Anyway. Next up we have still waiting on his sneeze McGee to
I think it's gone, to be honest, but
of
I'm glad you went first because it will make my argument look better.
Yeah.
Don't know why you went first.
I don't really. I mean, I'm gonna level with you, chaps. It's not.
Great start.
However,
toast isn't sexy.
Well, it's not. Look, I'm not going to lie to you.
All you've got to really convince us is that it's more sexy.
I
than
can't believe
cereal.
this. I've given you two.
Yeah, which I'm about to do.
We have literally given you multiple
2 hours.
hours.
I'm not gonna lie.
The company gave you multiple hours to think about this, and your first
Most of that was
statement
spent trying to
is,
get back into
I
the suit
don't
again,
really know.
to be honest.
It's not sexy.
It isn't. Neither of them are. You picked a shit topic. Look,
that
the
all you have
crunch
to
is very
say?
satisfying, and I'm sure to some people, maybe even a thing. But just. Oh, fuck! What was that?
Somebody being maybe they just heard the crunch of toast. You said some people call it a thing.
That first crunch is just orgasmic, and then the rest of it's sullied. I don't know. I think it's on you, Chris.
Is that your argument?
It's on me.
Is that your
That's his
I don't really know. It's not sexy. It isn't. This is a shit topic. The crunch is very satisfying. Some people
Wow.
call it a thing.
Wow. I don't know about you guys.
I feel like I win it for sheer honesty.
You know what's sexy? Honesty
Fuck yeah.
and truthfulness. We all know that breakfast foods aren't sexy.
Yeah,
Yet
who's
somebody
kidding yourselves?
had the balls, despite
Had
it
the
being a
gumption.
category, called it out. And this time they
It's
called
the
out
business
something.
suit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I had to get up and go out of
Yeah,
chips.
it's like-
The
like-
gumption.
like-
I've heard that I believe confidence is like 80% of sex appeal, and
Yeah.
coming out and saying I'm not sexy but I'm satisfying and I'm great might actually be one of the sexiest things you can say if you mean it. If you say you're not sexy but you're still confident in yourself, I think that's sexy. I think that's so sexy it counteracts the unsexiness of toast.
So what we're saying is that toast isn't sexy, but I am.
the salesman is.
I'm saying that your sex appeal has carried toast over the finish line.
That's
but
fantastic.
It's not all over yet.
Oh,
But we
God,
have
no.
our hidden sum up category, where we are going to give toast and cereal a sum up, and if cereal gives a convincing enough sum up on why cereal is better than toast, they can draw, and we will have to leave it to the comment section to decide what is sexier and what is better.
Okay.
So
I suppose it's for me
I think
first then.
yeah, you first. I think you've got cereal on the back foot, winning
Go on.
since you've won 3 out of
Time
the
to go
7
straight for the
questions.
jugular. Right.
Yeah.
To sum up, toast. It's practical. Doesn't take long to make, but it takes long enough to make that you put it in, you go do something else, and when you come back, it's ready. Which, and also, I don't know if you noticed, it's almost the exact same amount of time to prepare toast as it is to put the kettle on for like a couple cups worth of coffee. Which, the morning efficiency. So perfect. Not to mention the sheer versatility of toast. You can put anything from, your bog standard butter and Marmite on it, to all the way to pate and marmalade and all sorts of fancy nonsense. Hell, why stop there? Just put a whole roast chicken on it. I don't give a shit. You could do whatever. It's just carbs. I mean, it has no limitations really. The only limit to toast is your imagination. There's nothing that doesn't go with it. It could do sweet. It could do salty. It could do savoury. It could do made up, imaginary, pretend. It could do. You could just have toast. Just if you go on, fancy sort of healthy diet. Here's the toast, crunch, off I go. Got to head to the tube. Toast is for the pragmatic, but also sophisticated person in life, and I really, cereals for children and idiots. And I rest if I had a microphone, I would
Drop it.
I would drop it there.
1 second, that's too.
Marmalade,
Marmalade.
So, to sum up, toast is practical, not long to make, but it does take long, enough to make tea, same amount of time to make, enough to make, same amount of time to make a coffee. Morning efficiency, sheer versatility, pate, marmalade, whole chicken. It is carbs. It can go with anything, even the unreal or bland toast. Like when you need to run to the tube, he's very competent. I mean, look at that hair and beard. And come on the back foot. You can bring it up to a draw. To sum up your argument.
Right, now
You've won 4 rounds. It shouldn't be hard.
I'm not saying that toast is not a stand-up food substance, but cereal. It's just got that variety. It's got enough variety this day and age that there's a cereal for every occasion. Whereas toast, you might have to go out and get the spreads to make the toast, and I think that's a key point that we've learned from this: is that toast is very much reliant on other foodstuffs to be as useful as it can be. Cereal, it's the whole package in one. All you need is a little bit of milk. You don't even have to have milk. My nan has apple juice on her cereal. What's that about? Let's not go there. That doesn't matter. What I'm saying is cereal is where it's at. It's the way forward. We've been doing it for years. Why stop now? CE real. It's the real. It's the real shit.
The longer Matt talks, the more own goals he scores. Oh my god.
Well, that is.
Oh my lord.
Who doesn't love a bit of cereal?
I'm not saying that toast isn't a stand-up food material. There is cereal for all occasions. Toast is very reliant on other foodstuffs. Perfect. Cereal can stand up on its own. Doesn't need anything. Needs milk.
But does it? You can have it with apple juice if you really want. You could have it on its own if you really wanted.
Isn't that the same as a spread? And also, I think you can have toast by itself as well. But I would say that having toast by itself, as well as having cereal by itself, neither of which sound very appealing.
I would prefer a cereal on its own than toast on its own. It's got that bit more flavour to it.
I would prefer toast on its own than
cereal's got a bit more flavour to it. Toast is just...
It's got more flavour to it because it's just sugar and also the shit that bread's made out of.
You can't complain about the flavour of Weetabix. Weetabix has no flavour. I think was the argument made previously.
Fair point.
I also love that there is cereal for all occasions, and my mind immediately was like, wedding? Funerals?
I reckon so.
Board meetings?
I thought of a birthday.
Anything where you have to wear a suit.
Well, I would
the businessman's meal.
What you have is toast's argument is that it's practical, same amount of time to making a coffee, very versatile and can be made with various other things, good with carbs, and good if you're in a rush somewhere. The sum up for cereal is that toast isn't that bad. There's cereal for all
the first thing you did was compliment mine.
Toast is very much reliant on other foodstuffs, and then you said cereal stood up on its own. Then you said cereal needed milk or apple juice or orange juice. And then you said nothing is wrong with cereal, why change now? Which is the exact argument my parents make when they know they're wrong. So if it was wrong earlier, why is it wrong now? I'm sorry to say, but I am going to have to give that to toast.
It's completely fine. Because as I said
don't worry, he doesn't actually care.
Right from the top.
He didn't mind.
I'll eat both. Well, I'll have both on regular occasion. I don't care.
Frankly, I think that the win streak cereal had halfway through this podcast was more a testament to Chris's undying will that this podcast must remain somewhat suspenseful.
Yeah, I think we're going to be honest. I feel that I don't think cereal could have lost this. I think there's a good chance Cyril could have won. I just think that the people that we had arguing for toast and cereal were on very different levels of the debate stage. In terms of, I would say that I would believe that Jamie has done debating at school or some form of
not once.
speaking,
I just argue a lot.
I would struggle to believe that. Oh my God.
I was quite good at it for a while. Then I got bored.
Yeah,
of it.
but I think the problem we've discovered is that you have to give a shit.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is I need to at least be semi-passionate about the thing I'm arguing over.
Oh, that's good because in debate club, in my debate
cool.
club, I just got given a thing if you agreed with it or not. Anyway, I'm going to go to sleep because I've now gotten toasty enough in my suit to fall asleep.
Yeah, it is very fucking hot. This is
I'm
bad.
out of booze. I need more booze to
me too.
get over
I need
this
to finish
loss
my cocktail, and also I have had my dinner staring me in the face this entire time.
Alright, plug things and then run away.
Fancy cereal bar. So, what are we plugging today? Well, first off, before we go into anything, we have got...
Do we have another sponsor?
Quite the sponsor for this episode. Yes, we do. We have Higher Back eye drops. You might be asking, what's Higher Back eye drops? And I can tell you that earlier where we advertised our Everclean preservative, Avizor
back at it again.
Yeah. Well, basically, when you put it in after it's been cleaned, for your lenses, they might go in a little bit uncomfortable. You might not be able to sit in, and it might be a little bit itchy. This will numb your eyes a little bit and have a little viscous layer between that it actually gets you past that nasty first section of putting those contact lenses in. Best bit is you can do this for any occasion. Want to drop eye drops in your eyes? They're not dangerous at all. If anything, they'll just slowly make your eyes got a little bit of anaesthetic in, and it won't be as painful. Which, great. You might say, is there anything else they can do? No, that's about it. But anyway, we've got a very great deal today. They are down from... They put up their prices recently from £8 to £10, but just whilst this deal is going on, it's going back down from £10 to £8. So... You can buy them at your local opticians for £8. Amazing. All you need to do.
What's Chris going to do when he runs out of pharmaceuticals to plug?
Probably
are just on his desk.
Because
so far all of it's been eye drops.
Eye related.
No, I've had some
contact lens related shit.
I think I do have another one set up. I can't remember whether I did the Benadryl or the before this episode. So just leave.
I'm pretty sure I did Benadryl.
I'll remember
already.
which one it is.
I think it was the
and then I'll
Benadryl.
do the other.
I
one
love
for
this
the next
segment
one.
of the podcast where it's like, hey, listener, you made it 2 hours into a stupid fucking podcast. Congratulations.
But you're real proud.
You get to relax and listen to Chris just snipe from 3 miles off the pace of this podcast. Just surgically just take out the fucking pacing of this whatever pacing we had left is just been nuked into the floor.
And for myself, the stream schedule is almost completely done, and it should be out by the time this episode is out. Without a doubt, because I am going to be tonight. I'm going to be gathering some people together, and I'm going to probably be making them play a game where they finish off those categories, and whoever wins that game gets that little section in the category, which I think will be very cool. And also,
Twitter.
I exist
Facebook.
on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Gonna upload to SoundCloud eventually. I need to make the SoundCloud.
Do you mean this?
We'll do a SoundCloud one. Yeah, this. I just realised.
Yeah, we'll do SoundCloud.
The TheKimberLeague to my stream schedule. I need to add the TheKimberLeague to it as well.
And once you have more than 5 playlists that are actually podcasts, you can get on Spotify. But yeah. I believe you have to have
true?
Yeah. I remember listening to a podcast where they were discussing this exact thing. But
wow, brilliant!
You may already need to be a proper
also,
content creator, unlike us.
There's actually a head on this pen. It's just that none of you can see it at home.
It's a head
because it's a green screen.
we can see it.
But
there we go. I don't exist anymore. Okay, next person, pitch their stuff.
Is that me? I suppose that's me.
Yes.
Well, as always, I've still got that LinkedIn. No one's actually looked at it yet. bit disheartening, really.
Man, that's disheartening. No, but you gotta be patient.
These things take time. Oh, I can hear Craggle.
Oh,
Craggles. Maybe he's got a job opportunity for me. Who knows? But I don't know. Maybe I should like start spreading out onto more social medias and things. Get my portfolio out there. You know,
get an Etsy.
Could get like a Tumblr.
Get a DeviantArt. Tumblr.
Get
a
Tumblr. Well, let me know what you think I should
Tumblr's
get.
not relevant anymore.
Tell me.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know. Please. I need help.
I love telling people to let us know in the comments.
I'm sick of that. Okay, that was fun as well. It lasted.
Yeah, that's about me.
And finally, we have Jatto W.
Hey man, it's me. I do salmon. You'll find it, I'm sure. I believe
Twitch.
D&Ds. YouTubes.
It's all.
And finally,
it's all
I do not appreciate the influx of. So the email died down a little bit for astralfisher at gmail.com, but I do not appreciate the cold calling that has started happening.
Have they started Google Teamsing you or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Google Teamsing me. All of them about
Microsoft.
Yeah, I know. What's the Google one called? I don't know. No one uses it.
It's this weird organisation called the Illuminati saying that they want to chat with me. Something about the lizard men, floating pyramids, end of the world. Just don't want any of it. Get it out of there, okay? I don't care. No matter how many millions of money you supposedly have that you want to pay for me in order to start an independent rising within the youth of today. Doesn't matter. I'm not interested in these scams.
You would be a perfect candidate for that.
Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch, if that's even a real word. It doesn't even sound like English, to be honest.
That's a load of consonants thrown together.
Yeah, I know. In fact, you could say Blimblebur Clumbler, and I would probably still... it would be just as recognisable on what it was.
That's for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Anyway, enough hating on Benedict. What did he ever do to us?
Benedict.
He didn't do. He's sending me a load of spam at the moment about joining the Illuminati. Don't care for any of it.
If I know one thing about Benedict, it's his belligerent harassing of other people who are significantly less famous than him to join all of his dumb secret cults. I don't get it.
Yeah, terrible. Anyway, I think that's everything.
I'm looking around my desk and realising I've run out of podcasts. It's all gone.
I hope you have a very happy Halloween.
Sure, yeah. This will go.
I don't know what time is anymore. Like, lost all sense of that.
Where'd you get the suit?
Where'd I get the suit from? Oh no, these are my pajamas.
Oh shit, of course, yeah. That makes sense.
And as long as there's cows, there's milk.
As long as there's cows. And as always, just remember, if life's got you down at the moment, wherever there's cows, there's milk.
Where there's cows, there's milk.
That's it.
Golf clap. We'll golf clap out. Perfect.
Congratulations. Commendable.
Excellent. I need some champagne to celebrate.